Hello. Today we are going to draw a baby owl, or most commonly called an owlet. We will start with the outline of his head. So this is going to be kind of like a shape of an apple. It's kind of round but not quite round. It's about the same. There's a little bump on each side. We'll draw the beak in the middle. It's a triangle, an upside down triangle. But this bottom of this upside down triangle is sort of a rainbow shape or curve shape. And we'll define his head. If you're happy with the shape, you can always pause the video and fix your shape if you don't like your shape. If you do like it, you can start darkening the edges. And we can also start creating texture. This baby owl, or this owlet, is quite fluffy looking. Now we'll move on to his eyes. We'll draw one. It's kind of an odd-shaped circle, an irregular circle. We'll draw the other eye on the other side. Try to have them quite even. Darken the eyes. If you like the shape, once again, you can pause the video and fix the shape of your eyes. Make sure they're even to each other. You can create a little bit of a eyelash or kind of like a little point on each side of the eye because they're not, just to create that sunken in look that they're sitting in an eye socket. And now the light is going to be coming from the left side of the paper. So the parts of the owl underneath the chin, underneath the face, are going to be darker. And this middle point, kind of his forehead, is kind of shadowed. Just trying to create the shape of his face and his head with the use of shading, with the use of line, darkening the areas to pop out his face. Kind of darken this area. Just create that depth for the eyes. So draw a couple of those circles, and these are going to stay white. It's the glint of the eye to create that lifelike look to your owl. And now we'll just gently color around these dots, and we can always lighten them up if we want with our eraser, or if you have it, a white pencil. I'm going to shade the corners of the eyes again. I'm going to shade color in the entire eye. It's quite dark. This owl's eyes look almost black, except for the little glints of white. You can actually darken in the very edges if you really want the eye to look like it's popping out almost. Just gently coloring, darkening up the eye. The eyes of animals is so important to create that lifelike look. It's how lifelike the eyes are. I'm going to add some detail to the beak. So this part of the beak would be, or this side, pardon me, would be shaded. On the top of the beak we'll color in. And here's a little bit shadowed. It also creates that nice three-dimensional effect. So this wouldn't be seeing any of the light, it would be shaded by the beak. You could kind of jump around the paper. Now we're just filling in the form with the use of line. And I'm just using a regular pencil. Just add some darkness right under the chin. Create some depth here, some darkness. The top of his head is a little bit of a different color. It's a little darker. And we'll just move around and create the texture of this owl. Kind of form on the other side of the beak part, the upper beak part. Form his brow. Just move around the paper and move around your owl's face. And after, we will blend in the textures. We could use our finger, or we could use a shader or a Q-tip. Makeup tools even work to shade in our image, to blend in our image. Now we'll draw his body. His chest was kind of puffed up, and his face is slightly tilted. And this would be the darkest part of his body, would be the back part, which is the opposite side of the light. And the rear edge here on this side would be dark, farthest away the light, but then gradually it'll get lighter as it moves towards the center of the owl. And you can use squiggles and kind of form this three-dimensional effect of the body with the light to the dark. And in the lighter parts, we'll just do little light squiggles, less line. It'll look lighter for the lighter areas, and we'll gradually blend it out as it gets darker. Just continue to darken areas. His head really pops with the darker body. Even though the front part is lighter, we could pop out the face by creating some shadow underneath the chin. This gives me less line. The lighter areas are easier to work, so you just do less. Gently move across the picture. The lines are farther apart for the lighter areas. And just the outside of the outline of his face is a bit darker. So we'll just darken that up, and it really pops out his little face. It really looks like a little alien or something. Just darken up his beak here just to make it pop. Really sharpen that little beak. Right at the bottom here. We really want the beak to pop, the eyes to pop. Kind of even this out. Blend that in. Just keep moving around your owl. This is the point. You could take it as far as you want with the shading and the highlights and the textures. Continue to layer. Or you can stop when you feel like your image is good. It's complete. And now you start shading. I have my shader, just blending the edges. Some people like the rougher lines, but I like that smooth transition. I like some of the lines a little rougher to create that texture, And then we'll just smooth it around here, like blend that in, blend those hard edges, and really just have fun with it. It's sort of like a waking meditation. Feel that flow. Be present. You can always go back in and darken up after, or use your eraser to highlight areas. I'm really starting to like his texture. Blend his nose in a bit. Really get a nice blended texture. This is my favorite part. It's the finishing touches. Bringing the image together. And we do want this area to be the lightest because it's the closest to the light. I don't want to get too carried away, but we can always light it up later too. And the chest here of the owl is also quite a light area. Just lightly blend in, smooth it out to create this look of soft, fluffy baby owl. Or an owlet. I never knew a baby owl was called an owlet. I thought it was a chick, but I looked it up for this video and it's an owlet. Just continue to blend, continue to shade. The last few minutes, it's just that fine tuning. We'll darken up the edges here just to create the idea that the eyeball is sitting in an eye socket. We're going to lighten up the little white parts of his eyes to really create that lifelike eye of our baby owl or an owlet. And the corners and the edges of the eyes would be the darkest, so you can really darken those up. This little guy is really coming to life. Or little gal. Touch up the beak here. Really define it. I bet you these guys have a very sharp beaks. And remember, I am switching back and forth and using darker pencils with softer leads to really darken up some areas. And we'll blend in those harsh lines. Smooth this out. And I'm kind of going in like little circular motions to kind of create that really fluffy look. I go back in with another dark pencil. This is a 4B. And just really darken up underneath his chin. It creates a definition of the head from the body, but it also would be shadowed. So it's just creating that form. So his head really pops out. And I'm kind of just squiggling it to keep that texture, squiggling that line. We'll define his back a little more. Just kind of layering this texture, layering those pencil marks, And going back in with our shader, what other shading tool you have, and this could be your finger, a Q-tip, makeup tools. Just kind of smooth out the edges here. Just kind of cleaning up these edges. I'll take another darker pencil. Because you know this would be pretty dark on this side. Just moving around, layering. Right now I'm just kind of smoothing it out. Using little tiny pencil marks. Almost like forming that fluff, forming the texture. Now I'm going to go back in and kind of blend it just a little bit. I mean, it's tiny little details, but sometimes the smallest details makes big differences. And you can't even pinpoint what it is. It's like a cumulative effect. Now we'll take the eraser and we'll highlight the chest area. Kind of smooth that out, and I'll just take my finger because it's a bigger area. And you can still see a little bit of the marks underneath the texture of it, but it creates that highlighting effect. That's the brightest area. I'm just going to take my finger and just kind of smooth the image. So I'm really trying to create the soft, fluffy effect. If you reach out and touch them, it would just be fluffy and soft. I think we're almost done with this Owlet. Let's see. I think I'm going to clean up my background a bit. You probably can't see it, but there's little paper smudges. It's not a big deal, but we'll just clean up these areas. Wipe off the eraser bits. Hold the paper and just really kind of clean up the background. Clean up the edges of my Owlet. Okay. Initial and year. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.